Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond Focus TV show. I'm your host, Oni Higgins, and I'm joined by Epiphany Kendell. Now, she is an entrepreneur, activist, and an author. But first, a quick break.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're tuned into Beyond Focus TV show. I'm your host for the night, Oni Higgins, and I'm joined by Epiphany Kendell. Now, she's a woman who wears many hats, including author, entrepreneur, activist. Does the list go on?
Does.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
For having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
Just, you authored 2 books, and it's Hood Girls Do It Better, A Hood Girl's Guide to Success, and Holistically Hood. What was the inspiration behind these books? Like, I just have to know.
Oh my God. So the first one is a A to Z guide for young women that are from urban neighborhoods like mine, projects, the hood. What was happening was I was experiencing a lot, and so was other women, and then like mostly young women, and they would come and ask me for advice, and I'm looking like, what do you mean? Like, do it look like I have it together? But it did, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, we're the same. We're going through the same things, and I can relate. So my mom is like, you need to write a book. And I'm like, please. So time went on, and I'm like, no, I need to write a book. And I've always loved to write. When I was young, I always said I was going to be a writer. So once we came up with the idea, we just started, and the universe just brought it together. So the book is based on, like, from A to Z, things that women go through with some women, whether it's low self-esteem, rape, molestation, setting your goals. And then for Holistically Hood, that's more of a, both self-help, but Holistically Hood is me going into beauty, health, just living a holistic life, body, mind, and spirit. Although we live in the hood, although we live in what people deem to be, you know, just down and ghetto, it's like you can still keep yourself together. You can still be grounded and just make it through.
Yeah, you mentioned something important, and I just want you to define the definition of hood. Like, what does that mean to you? Because oftentimes it comes with a negative connotation, and you know, it can be something beautiful and positive as you're writing about. So what's your definition?
So I use that on the play. We know that it comes from neighborhood, but you know, as people of color, those of us, we cut things short, is slang for our hood, our neighborhood, where we're from. But a lot of people think hood, and I don't know, I think it's like a media thing, I'm not sure, but ghetto, loud, hoodlums, you know what I mean? Like, that's where, because that's another word that comes from, but that's not where I go with it. I'm like, listen, I'm a girl from my neighborhood, the hood, and this is just what it is. But I wanted to show them, and actually there was a post that I piggybacked off of the other day. This girl said something about, you know, hood dudes, they go through all of this, and they go through needing food and like a rough life. And I'm like, everyone from the hood does not living a rough life. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, anyone could be living that type of life. And that's basically what I wanted to show. And I tell my girls, like, it doesn't matter where we're from, you know, it's like where we're at. It's about where we're headed, you know, where we're going and where we want to be, and us pursuing that. So I just wanted to show, like, yeah, okay, the hood is the hood, but there's different types of personalities that come from the hood. So that's, like, you know, where I am with it.
And also, there's different types of hoods, right?
Yeah.
It's immediately when you hear the word hood, people associate it with, like, the underserved community.
Yeah.
But there's neighborhoods that are not underserved and that have resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why do you think that this term is something that should be celebrated?
Yeah.
Like,
because I just feel like they're looking at it like people think hood and they just automatically think poor and black. You know, and it's like, there are trailer park hoods. You know what I mean? There are people from all different culture backgrounds that live in what they consider the hood, the projects. I just want it to be celebrated because let's be real. Culture the hoop earrings, the long nails, the rings on all the fingers, that's not coming from suburbia. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That is coming from what people deem the hood. So it's like, let's shine a light on that. This is what it is. Also, let's think medicine, herbs, all of these things come from what they deem to be ghetto or the bottom. Everything comes from the hood. So
absolutely, I think nowadays it's starting to get its flowers a bit because it's more glamorized.
Yes.
It's not like what it used to be. It's a little bit more glamorized. So I think that the hood is getting its flowers, which it's a good thing to see. It's a fun thing to see. But you're a resource for your community. Mm-hmm. Just talk to me on, and oftentimes within our communities, we don't have those resources, you know? We don't have people who we can look to for a guide. Yeah. So how important is that, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, so it's very important. I was blessed with a good team, but as far as older women I could go to for advice, but there was always certain things that I wasn't comfortable speaking about, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I want to be able to be that person for other women. I just recently did a program last year for Women's Month. I think is March, right? Mm-hmm. April in my community. But here's the thing, it was very unprofessional, which made me pull back and no longer want my energy there. And sometimes now I kind of get it. I'm like, this is kind of probably why people like me run from places like this and then want to build something else and kind of bring them to wherever it is that we're building, because not everyone has the mentality. We get people that get in position and take advantage of the position that they're in. You know what I mean? So I loved being with the girls. I loved doing that. But I'm like, for me, having to deal with the people to be in here, it just doesn't feel good to me. But I did have a spa studio, and I had it in the hood. And I did facials, brows. I offered a sauna, and I service people who never had facials before, service people who never had their brows really done, aside from going to the nail salon for $8. You know what I mean? So I did bring luxury to the neighborhood. And what happened was, other girls started to say, I didn't know that this was a thing I can do. So there are girls who went and got their license. I showed them their way, and I plugged them in with jobs. So it's like, I love it. I love that I can be like, girl, no, here's the 411. This is how you do it. And that's why I continue to write books. I have a travel guide, Hood Girls Travel too. So yes, I have that coming just to show girls, like, this is, if you want to travel, this is how you prep to travel. And there's a life outside the block that goes past the block. So that's basically what that one is going to be about.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much. Tell me, is there ever a time where you have to balance, or you feel like you're not being loyal to your community, or you feel like, oftentimes when you get to a certain position or a certain stature, you're looked at as a sellout? Or how do you deal with that conflict? Yeah,
not for nothing, because I still live there. I haven't found a space and I'm still looking for a new spot. So I'm like, I'm leaving this neighborhood. I am not putting my spa back here. They didn't appreciate me. Like, there was times I did feel like that. If anyone did feel or try to say that I'm a sellout, I really wouldn't even care, because it's like, get to where you need to get to first before you point any fingers at anybody else. I'm very strong in that way. Like, head up, because I used to have low self-esteem for a very long time, so I had to build myself to a point where it's like, okay, I was being picked on, it was this and was that. I wasn't the it girl, I wasn't any of that. And as I'm grown now those who picked on me, those who had things to say, I'm like, oh, well, look who's
in the block, huh?
I'm like, look who this is. So yeah, no, even if that was the case, no, because I know who I am. And what I also realized is, you have to kind of, if you want it, you're going to go and kind of get the information that's given. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I want to teach. Like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You're in a world where you can Google and find things out. Do it for yourself.
Absolutely. But hold that thought. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV show. I'm Oni Higgins. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Picking back up where we left off. We were kind of speaking about the how do you deal with being labeled as a sellout, if you ever have been, and that stature. Any remaining thoughts or things that you wanted to say there?
So I've had people reach out to me for wanting to get into acting or modeling, or because I dibble and dabble in a lot of that, and I give them the information that's needed. But what I realize is they want me to hold their hand, and it's like, if you go around in life thinking someone's going to hold your hand, you're not going to get anywhere. And I think that sometimes people in general, but a lot of people from where we're from, feel like they're owed something or someone's coming to save them, and that's absolutely never going to be the case, you know? So that's what I try, and it's like, I'm not trying to be cold with you, but I went and I found and I grinded to get, to find the opportunities, as should you. So,
No, I absolutely agree with you. Nothing is free. You have to work hard. If you want amazing things, you want an amazing life, you have to put in the work for it. And that's, you're not owed anything just because we're from the same community or, no. You gotta put in the work for it.
Put in the work.
As well. So aside from being a self-published author, you are also a wellness advisor. Just speak to me on how important health and mental health is for you.
Oh my God. So health in general, I've never really had anyone around me eat healthy and show me. I don't know where I came from with it. My mom is like, the way you love fruits, because she doesn't really eat fruit. So it's like, where do you get this from? I'm basically the only one that I've known around me who's ever tried to be vegan, who go raw food. I do cleanses, like 30-day cleanse, fasting, all kinds of things. I don't know. It just, from young, it's been in my mind. But what happened was, I got off of birth control. And when I got off of birth control, my skin went crazy. So I'm like, well, what is this? So I started digging more, and that's what also pushed me to become a licensed esthetician. So from there, it just, health became a thing. And then my household, they started not drinking milk. My friends, it just kind of poured into it. But I realized when I started eating healthy, my mind did something I can't, and people, they don't believe me, but I'm like, you literally feel like you're floating. Positive. You just feel so much better and lighter and brighter and oh my goodness.
Absolutely. You feel your mind is different. You just feel light. You just feel good. I don't know. You don't have bad days. No, you just feel airy and you're just glowy. So I definitely understand you on that one. So I have a question. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about health, mental health, and wellness within the Black community?
They feel like, oh, it costs so much, but it's always coming from someone who pays thousands of dollars for shoes and hair. And I'm like, you just choose to put your money somewhere else. I don't.
You see what's a priority for you.
And what's not. And then mental health, I just had a discussion with my dad. He's been incarcerated all of my life in and out of jail, but he's better. He's been home since I was 16. He said people who need that, because I'm in therapy, one of the best decisions of my life. People who need therapy, they just don't want to do the self-work. And I'm like, that's not the case. That is a part of the self-work. Right. So I kind of was mad at him because I'm like, you have the nerve. You're a walking kind of needed therapy. But I love him. I get it. Everyone has their own opinions. So they feel like you're telling someone your business. We don't need people in our business when you want to go to therapy. And it's like, this is why we have a lot of generational trauma, because things happen and no one talked about it. When I was molested, I never spoke about it until I wrote my book, and then I had to tell my mom on the train, okay, so this book is coming, and this is what happened, and I wrote it in. You know what I mean? And I always felt like I can talk to her, but that was something I felt like I could not talk about. So those are the misconceptions, for sure.
Definitely, and it's often a lot of things are slid under the rug, and if it's not accepted, you wouldn't feel comfortable coming out and saying that. So that's certainly important. What's your go-to recommendations for people who are battling mental health issues? Or I know you mentioned therapy. But is there anything else that people should be doing?
I think that for sure, aside from wanting to eat healthier, wanting to sleep, because when I'm sleep deprived, literally, I go into a real deep depression, and I'm like, you have not slept. Talking about it, I have a great community. I cannot lie. Of a small one, but it's a great one. So always trying to look for someone you see the light in. Sometimes girls get intimidated. I've had a lot of girls get intimidated by me and then talk to me and say, wow. And I'm like, girl, you've seen this light shine and come and get some of this. You know what I mean? Like, reach out, and it's okay. With social media, just be a little more open. Be a little more open and find someone that we know energy. We know vibes. We're either going to go towards it or feel intimidated and not. And when you need some help, go speak to somebody. We need to talk.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, because communication is often a barrier.
Yeah.
And it makes you, you're either not going to say something, you're going to have something bottled up within you, and then it's just going to take one thing and you're going to take. But you mentioned social media, right? Yeah. And social media plays a huge role in mental health today.
Yeah.
So just, what do you think? Are there moments to unplug? Do you suggest people doing that? And
I go 6 months, 7 months.
Me
People,
too.
I just came back not too long ago. Everyone's like, where were you? What's going on? My friend said, I'm tired of you. I think they're starting to get it, because I go missing. I don't answer texts. I need time to. So I am a intuitive, right? So when I'm doing facials and things, I'm doing Reiki. Sometimes I get spiritual messages for people, so they come to me for advice. That's draining. I cannot be a martyr. I cannot. So I need time, even if it's 6 months to a year's time, and then I'll come back to you. So I do unplug.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, you're going through your own mental health things, and then everyone else's trauma is dumping on you. So having those barriers are also important.
Yeah.
And when you're a resource for everyone, there's no stopping. So those boundaries are certainly important, and taking that time to yourself is also important.
Yeah.
What do you think about social media on the mental health in general? We see unarmed black men literally dying on social media. That's the culture that we're in now. What are your thoughts on that?
Not for nothing, I'm not going to lie to you. Because I'm an empath, I don't watch TV. So when I see stuff like that, I really kind of do skip over it. I do a lot of prayer for us, but I personally can't take that in, because then I'm easy for depression, which then brings to like suicidal thoughts. So I kind of live with, pink tinted glasses, honestly.
Hold that thought. Yes. We're going to head to a quick break really quick. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm sitting with Epiphany Kendell. Now, before we went on break, we left off speaking about misconceptions within the mental health black communities, as well as the impact of social media on your mental health. And I know that we were talking about your rose gold tinted life that you live, just so that you don't, you're not bothered with that. Is there any other things that you do just to unplug?
So when I'm on social media, I make sure to follow pages that lift me up. So it's always food or babies, because I'll be a doula. So babies, birth, like beautiful things that uplift me, because I know what's going on in the world, and if I can't do anything about it, there's no need for me to continue to keep watching that. So that's number one. And unplugging is definitely, I'll let my friends know, hey, I'm taking a little break. I'll reach out when I'm back to being social. And that's just what I do, because I don't know at times, is it me? Am I depressed for me, or am I depressed because I kept listening to her and him and her? They're all of their problems, and I can't differentiate whether it's my issues or their issues. So I'm very like, okay, because for a long time I wasn't. For a very long time I was just giving, and I looked like it. You know what I mean? Like I felt sucked in. I felt like
it's draining.
Super draining.
It's draining. You want to be a resource for people, and you want to help people, and you want to be a yes girl.
Yeah.
But who's gonna say yes to you?
Okay.
You gotta say yes to you.
Me. So boundaries.
Absolutely. So you're a woman of many hats.
Yeah.
You truly embody that. You also had a wellness spa, and you're bringing it back.
I am.
You're bringing it back. So what
am.
can people expect from the wellness spa, and why was it important for you to do this?
Yeah. So I just felt like there needs to. I'm going to be a hotelier, so I'm just putting that out there now. Universe picked that up for me. We don't have spaces. I think that for me, because when you came into my space, you felt luxurious. You were coming into a Dominican hair salon, but when you came into my space, and everyone always said it's like, it just transformed. I'm bringing luxury to holistic care, because sometimes you'll get too luxury where it looks medical, and and then on the other side it looks like, okay, like a mud house, and that's cool too, but it's like we can do both. We can heal in luxury. So that's why I wanted to bring that. I wanted to come get a sauna, and it doesn't cost you thousands of dollars to come sweat the toxins out. Come get a nice holistic facial. You got it's a little more on the expensive side, but you get way more than you expect. If you check my Yelp reviews at Epiphany Kendell, you'll see everyone says it's more than a facial, it's more than eyebrows. My brow artist is literally my therapist, and that's what I want. So my slogan is beauty therapy that goes beyond the skin. So it's more than what's just here. We're going spiritually. We're going deep.
I love
that. We're going deep.
I love that. I think that you're a walking billboard for women who come from underserved communities. And there might be a ton of little girls who look up to you. Not even little girls. Women, girls who look up to you as inspiration and the aspiration of a life that they may want to live. Yeah. What advice would you give to them?
I always say that it's not about where you've been or where you're at. It's about where you're going. So don't focus, if you can, don't dwell on this is where I am. Where is it that you want to go? And take those steps each and every day to get there. I wanted my spa. I wanted to be an esthetician. So one thing I realized too, people don't want to work for free. Of course, it sounds crazy, but I interned. Even today, I'm like, oh no, I'll come shadow you. So I went out there. My mom never really let me work fast food. She said, I don't understand why you want to work fast food if you're not trying to own a restaurant. So everything I did made sense to the path that I was on. If I wanted to be an author, you need to follow this person and that person. When I was in fashion, because we had a clothing line together, my room was filled with fashion magazines. So my mom is a blessing. So it's like focus on where you want to go and go there. Make your own way. Bust down those doors or go through the window, because that's literally what I've done.
Yep, making your own seat at the table.
Yes.
Like if one's not giving to you, make your own. One more piece of advice that I want you to know from you is, what about girls from the Bronx, the Brooklyn, Queens? How can you make them, what words would you give to them to make them feel worthy and that they deserve to be here when they do get that seat and they do kick in those doors?
Yeah, you are enough. And my father always said, the world is your oyster, go get your pearl. So it's just like I belong at anywhere that I am. This is where I'm at. Okay, y'all was waiting for me to be here, and you just have to have that mentality, because I used to have very low self-esteem, and as I started growing and building and spending more time with me, talking self-talk, that mirror time is the time. I'm like, girl, you look good today. You know what I mean? Or it'll be like, girl, your hair ain't done, but your skin looks good. Like, I always try to find something about me that is just it in that moment, because forget what's not it. Literally, be into you. Get in your real bag. Forget the Gucci, the Louis. Get in your real bag, the self bag, the all about you bag.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So how can people at home get in touch with you? I know that you have so many different outlets. Yeah. Instagram, TikTok. I don't know what it is. No. So how can they get in? How can they get in contact with you?
I ain't on the TikTok.
You got the TikTok?
No, girl, I just made my page private, actually.
My gosh.
But you can still follow me at Epiphany Kendell. So everything is going to be at Epiphany Kendell. Twitter, Instagram. The Facebook, I can't remember if I deactivated or I'm really one of those. But at Epiphany Kendell. Oh, and YouTube too.
YouTube? What are you doing on YouTube?
I have, videos from literally the beginning, where I'm just before this, because this is the second cover, actually. We had the first cover. Of course, I had to redo it as I've grown and got my money up a little bit. You just see the journey for real. And I watch back and I'm like, oh my God, it's cringe, but vulnerable moments.
That's definitely important, and I think that you embody that for a lot of women and a lot of girls, and I'm sure that they're at home watching, whether it's tonight or it's at the YouTube or even social media, tuning into your journey. Talk to me on how was the transition for you, seeing yourself grow and witnessing that growth over the years.
Girl, so even now, here's a moment. I was speaking to my therapist, and she was telling me, she was like, you talk as if your body or yourself in your book is not connected to you. So I'm just now bringing it together because that's why I needed therapy. I felt like these were just things. They were coming. It came in my mind and I get it done. I didn't really feel the full connection. I'm like, I just got to get these things done for the people, and it's like, no, take some time, embrace what you've done. Now I'm starting to see, like, I wrote a book. No, just now, literally, recently. So I'm still taking it in as it goes, honestly. I look back at my videos. I went to see a new spa space today, and I'm like, you really had a spa before, and now you're about to get, like, a real storefront spa. Like, oh my God, it's just amazing.
Absolutely. I definitely love that. Yeah. And Epiphany, this conversation was certainly motivating. I loved it so much. It definitely warmed my heart. We're honored to have you, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And for those of you at home watching, what a powerful conversation we had tonight. If you missed this show, don't worry, you can catch it again on our social media outlets. Thank you for watching tonight, and have a good night.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.